yourself a mark right there. You can make a mark, or you can take yourself a little chalk, because there's a lot of, just approximately, okay? Because it's just pretty much like the lining, because you gotta leave this first part loose so you can hook into the inner seams. You cannot sew it all the way down, okay? So I'm gonna sew this real quick. Oh, here it is. Back stitch in the beginning and the end. Let me double check this. Yep, that looks good. Double check if you got the plaid in the right place. This is a 1/2 inch seam. Now basically, when you're working with plaid like this, you gotta watch your pins, because you cannot really move them as freely, because you want to keep the plaid in place. So, and right in here, you have a lot going on, crisscrossing. And so I'm just using my hand wheel. See, I'm just doing it all kind of slow. This too is lining, I mean it's linen. The fabric is linen. And that's another different story. Linen is, you know, it's more, moves more. It's not quite as solid as a wool. All right, end up with a back stitch. And take it out and cut your tails. Get rid of those tails, because otherwise you just they follow you like they're always in the way if you don't cut them as you go along. Okay, now before I go on, I want to make sure that, see, that this is perfect. See? Get it? The plaid matches. See? All right. Okay. So now we go to the second part, which is your facing. Again, we have the 2 pieces, and if you look at your sketch, the dark is always the right side, and the lighter parts are always indicate the wrong side. So, see, too many lakes, too much lakes. So see, this is how we started out. Now we're going to move this down, just like that. Now we take this part, which is the facing. Now, mostly you can interface it, but I'm not a real fan of it. But with this linen, it's good to interface. But when your fabric gets a little heavier, I don't recommend interfacing, because then it gets too stiff. So you kind of have to play it by ear. This too has to be matched. So with the interfacing, it's a little bit... Yeah, sometimes this is cut in you cut it in a different direction.
I did?
Mm-hmm. You see? This one is there. It should have been...
Is it going to be showing?
But no, it's not. But
okay.
I'm going to, since I'm using this, I'm not going to change it right now. This, if it was visible...
It'd be a problem.
But I think I can work with them.
Okay. Yay.
She gonna work with you.
Yeah. I started, I don't want to take the time and recut it at this point. Now, there, you know, when you do a separate facing like this, and maybe I want to see what you think. It doesn't ask for an understitching, but I always wonder if it comes out nicer if you would understitch that.
I think it would.
I might try this on yours to see what it looks
Do
like.
whatever you want, boss.
If I don't like it, I won't do it again, but I want to see.
Otherwise it wobbles.
I kind of shied away from it because, you know, it's not in the instructions. But then I have another step in here where there is no instructions either, because of the plaid. You have to insert one more step in order. Now this one, they almost meet. Okay, they should meet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down. I probably should have. You have to sew this within a ½ inch, okay? Now, see, I got a little gap in here. I'm going to bring that seam, after I finish it, I'm going to bring this one up so that they come close, okay? Let me see. All right. You see this?
Yes.
See, it's
Wrong.
I mean, you still have the horizontal, but it's upside down. Did you see what she did wrong? See if you can work, if you can tell
Hopefully
me.
when they become pants, nobody's looking that close
Tell
to that
me
area
what
of somebody's
mistakes
body
you made.
to notice.
Yeah, see,
Oh,
she this
yeah.
in this. She should have cut it in the other direction.
I wouldn't have noticed that. Like, if I was just looking at it.
You would at some point you would have noticed. Okay, let me do this real quick. ½ inch, and then the lower half is not so. Okay, so we're going to do ½ inch. Now let's hope it's going to look okay, matching wise. Again, slow down when you get to the pins, because you're trying to keep the plaid from moving. But basically, you know, they say when you sew over pins, you can break the needle if you go too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it.
But you also can damage the tip of the needle.
Yeah.
And
I've done that too.
the third part, the thread can break if it cuts too close to the needle. You can cut the thread and then you get a hole in your seam. So there are several different things you
Yeah.
have
Just
to
don't do it.
look out for. So you have to take your time. That's basically. You cannot rush through this stuff. This linen doesn't like me.
It doesn't like me either.
Okay, I got it. All right. So I'm going to bring it within a ½ inch. I got to point out that you really have to follow your measurements, because if you don't, you're going to get in trouble along the way with the zipper, because everything has to sort of come together. You know, like these seams, this has to be a ½ inch, this has to be. Then they also supposed to meet. So I'm going to bring this in a little bit. And let's see, where was I? Let me take this out. See, they're supposed to line up, because otherwise you get a hole into the bottom of your zipper. See, all these things, they here for a reason. You're not supposed to sew them together, but they need to be next to each other. Okay, let's see, did I catch this? All right. This can just be overlapped and it's okay. All right. Okay, let's check and see if it's all in order. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, now we were talking about understitching. We can check that out. Who remembers what understitching is?
Sewing one
See,
side
now
of the
they meet.
fabric to the seam joints.
Right. So if I understitch, first of all, by the end of this, you're going to clip right up to where the seam is, okay? Now I'm going to take this and fold it towards the seam like that. You can press it. See, you fold it over the seam, press it, and then we're going to understitch it. Yeah, because then when you press it, let's see how it works out. And understitching is a 16th inch. We've done that on the pockets. Okay, let's see. I don't know. I'm just going to test it. I think I might leave it optional. Okay, see? The thing about understitching, what's the thing about understitching? Who can tell me?
It looks nice.
Now you have to trim, this, okay?
Oh, sorry.
We're going to trim this down halfway. You can also grade it if your fabric is a little heavier. Okay, see what happens when you understitch. It reinforces the seam, but it also, when you press it, it lays down kind of nice. Okay? All right. So I'm going to press that real quick. But I think I'm going to keep it optional because it's a little bit like a can of worms. I'm not quite sure if I should open it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because some of you can follow and some of you are going to have a hard time. All right, now. Where's that zipper? What happened to the zipper? Oh, there it is. Oh. You want to press this for me, please? Okay, now we are right here. Okay, now we have to secure the zipper on the facing, which this is your facing. So we open the facing and we're going to put the zipper upside down. Now see this little corner right here, the end of the zipper? We're going to bring it to until it meets the curve. See what this curve is? You want to kind of line it up right there. And on this side here, you have to bring the edge of the zipper, has to go right into the dip, into the ditch of the seam. This is very important. You cannot fool around with that. Because if we don't line it up perfectly, the second half won't fall into place. So, okay, let me see. We're going to bring it over here.